evening and welcome to We the People. Should the right to die with dignity be as sacred as the right to life? Well, a petition admitted by the Supreme Court on behalf of an NGO argues that it should be. It explores the notion of a living will. In other words, it argues that a person should be allowed to say, if I fall terminally ill, I do not want to go on life support, I do not want my life to be supported or enabled by a machine. It's reopened the entire debate on the notion of mercy killing, euthanasia, assisted suicide, and in the end, who should be able to decide how long a person wants to live. The government, of course, has already argued that it opposes any such plea, but the Supreme Court is going to hear this petition in any case. On We the People today, we explore the right to die. Before I come to Prashant Bhushan, who actually filed the petition on behalf of Common Cause, the NGO, I want to actually start with another advocate, a senior advocate from Chandigarh, who's on this program in his personal capacity. Manmohan Sareen, you actually belong to a group that supports euthanasia. You have a story that's quite poignant. Your father was very ill for many years, and that's, I believe, what led you to believe that it was time to start re-looking at this whole concept. A lot of people would say euthanasia, to support euthanasia is to support cowardice. To support mercy killing is to support cowardice. Tell us your story and how your views over the years changed on this issue.
Well, Barkha, it was about 14 years ago. My father, who was also a senior advocate, a highly respected one with 62 years of practice behind him, fell sick of a minor disease. He couldn't swallow food. He was admitted to the PGI in Chandigarh, where he picked up hospital infection. And his condition worsened so rapidly that suddenly they needed an injection, which was a life-saving one. And they sent me out to fetch it from the market. While I was out... How
old was your father when this was happening?
He was 83. But he was absolutely fit. Up to the day he went to hospital, he used to do all his work himself. He didn't even bother to call the servants to take his cup of tea back to the kitchen. He used to do everything. Very independent person. But there he was. By the time I came back with this 3 rupee life-saving injection, I found that they had moved him from the hospital room and taken him to the ICU and put him on the respirator. For the next 22 days, the 4 of us, brothers and sisters, used to sit outside the ICU asking the doctors, will there be any change? All we were told was, his stats have changed, you know, his blood pressure is improved, etc. He never spoke a word after that. He never did anything. And it was such a shame to see him lying there, totally helpless, an independent person all his life, and there he was lying.
And you wanted to take him off the respirator?
We pleaded with the doctors. I said, why don't you put an end to this? And they said, sorry, Mr. Sareen, we can't do it. He's on the respirator. Now if they pull the plug, it'll be like killing him. Now the thing is, had they asked me before they put him on the respirator, I also knew his views, and I would have never let them do it. But since they had done it, you know, we were stuck. We couldn't grieve, we couldn't celebrate, we couldn't do anything. We were.
And looking back, you still believe, there's no confusion, you would have wanted to take him off the respirator?
I would have never let them
put him on the respirator to begin with.
To start with. And that is the important thing. And soon after he passed away, after 22 days, and I feel that they put him on the respirator, looking at the background of the family. I was the former Advocate General of Punjab, and he was a successful senior advocate. Said this family can afford it, let's put him on the respirator. And it cost us an endless amount of money. But that apart, we could afford it, and we would have spent any amount of money for my father. You know, it was an exercise in futility.
Okay, I'm going to come back to whether there is any moment of conflict when a person actually decides that enough is enough, this is suffering now, this is not fighting back. But I want to get Prashant Bhushan in. These are the kind of stories that your petition is really looking at, that a person should be entitled to say that when my body has given up on me, do not make me a vegetable, do not put me on a bed, do not hook me